Hello everyone and welcome back to my playthrough of Eclipse, the board game. If you watched my first video, you probably are familiar with the general rules and the way this game is played. I did go through some fake rounds just to show off some of the actions and such, but now we come to the interesting part, which is the Solitaire variant setup. As you can see here, if you are familiar with the game, this probably looks a bit weird. This is not how you start the multiplayer game, but basically this is the way you start this variant. Let's first start off with talking about the variant, and the variant is Invasion version 2. An unofficial expansion for Eclipse and Rise of the Ancients for solo and cooperative play by Tom the Tay. Now, I don't have Rise of the Ancients, and I don't think you need Rise of the Ancients. There are a couple of things that you cannot do if you do not have Rise of the Ancients, but otherwise it's fairly compatible with just the base game. I think I discussed a bit about this during the first video of the series. This scenario or this variant is fairly difficult. I mean, I think I've played this like 5 or 6 times and I've done miserably bad. Basically at the end of the game you score. You can have a look at the victory point scoring system here, and you tally up your victory points and you see how well you did. Now, the best I've done is 29. Your race survives as space nomads forever on the run. Well, at least my race survived, but yeah, that's pretty terrible. So this is pretty difficult. Now, I do realize I am not all that good at playing this game, so that may be a contributing factor, but I still feel that this variant is fairly difficult. It doesn't really bother me. I think it's fine. I think a little bit of difficulty is healthy, and you get to learn new things and explore new possibilities. Now, the other interesting part of this variant is how you set up the turn track here. Basically, different things will happen on the different turns or rounds. I will be attacked at round 2, 4, 6 and 8, and the enemy will colonize at turns 3, 5 and 7. They will also get upgrades at they will start off with a minor upgrade at turn 1, and then they will get upgrades at 3, 5, 7 and 9. Sorry. When we get to turn 9, I have a chance to develop the warp gate technology, and this is something that comes from the variant itself. This is not in either the game or the expansion, but you can make this fairly easy. You can print out the variant pages and then just paste this on one of the unused tokens from either the base game or the expansion. And as you can see, this costs quite a lot. It costs 30, but you can lower the cost. You lower the cost by 1 for each. Let's zoom out here. For each victory point on the reputation track, which will be here. So we'll see about that later. But even if you are drawing really well, you can only have 16 victory points here. And that brings it down to 14, so it's quite expensive. But with this new version, you can actually trade with the colonists that would be colonizing our sectors or the nearby sectors. And if you do that, you can subtract 3 for each colony that you are trading with, so you have a potential of -9 from colonies as well. So that would bring you down to a cost of 5 to research this thing here. And on top of that, the bonus from your technology tree here applies as well. Now I don't really know which one of these the warp gate belongs to, because it doesn't really look like any of them. So I have no idea, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't look like any of these. It's kind of purplish. I don't know if this is from the expansion, if the expansion adds something that looks like this, but I'm just gonna pick the highest one. So the game is hard enough. I'm just gonna pick the highest one so that I can research this. So basically, if my grid is at -4, I'll just pick the grid if that's the highest one. This is fairly expensive, like I said. So the other variant that I have been using is that I can pay whatever resources. I don't have to pay research. I can pay either credits or materials plus research or something like that. Anyway, that is basically it. On top of that, the game, the general game, the normal game, and this variant calls for drawing 12 random tiles at the beginning and then filling the track up with 4 new tiles at the start of each round. But what I have found out is by the turn 4 or 5, these tracks will basically fill up, and you will just draw doubles and triples and multiples of these for no apparent reason, because I'm the only one that's going to be picking from these. There's no reason to have doubles on it, and I can save myself some time by not having to draw these each round, and I just place them on this track anyway, because like I said, during most playthroughs this will fill up by the turn 5, so the last 4 turns you would just draw doubles. Okay, so that is basically the variant. It comes with some different cards. These are upgrade cards. This is a level 1 upgrade, this is a level 2 upgrade, and this is a level 3 upgrade. These are really powerful. Both of these are pretty powerful. The enemy AI starts the game with 1 minor upgrade. So at the beginning of the game you draw one of these and they start with that upgrade, and then for future upgrades the round 3 upgrade is a level 2 upgrade, and then rounds 5, 7 and 9 have a 2+3 upgrade. So they get pretty powerful pretty fast. Okay, so anything else that I am forgetting? I don't know if I have talked about this, but the exploration part and the stack of unknown hexes is prepared in a way that you lay down a number 1 tile here between you and the galactic center, and then you have just one hex with number 2 on top, and then rest of these are number 3 tiles or hexes. That is because they are a bit more dangerous and more interesting, and since I am the only one playing here, I think that's pretty good not to get stuck on crappy number 1 and number 2 hexes, but to actually advance by getting some good and semi-dangerous hexes to explore. When you can take a look at the attacking force that will be attacking me. See if I can zoom in here. This is the card that you use for determining the attacking force. So you can see that it's divided into different rounds, and different forces can attack you during each round, and it gets worse and worse as closer you get to the end. And let's see if I can here we go. This is the final force that you have to defeat, the Warp Station fleet. It has a dreadnought, 2 cruisers and 4 interceptors. It doesn't sound like much, but it's really, really tough. Especially when they have upgraded like 6 times. And especially if they draw powerful upgrades. So the way you determine the attacking force is you roll a die to see which one of these armies attack you, for depending on what round you are on, and then you roll another die and add the round number to that. So if you do this, for instance, during round 8 and you roll a 4, that would be a 12. So they will attack you where you have the most population cubes. Basically what this means is during the first rounds they will attack your outposts and your lower numbered hexes and the hexes where you have least resources and such. And then when you get closer to the end, they will be attacking the best spots of your empire. So they probably will be attacking your home world, or if you have conquered the galactic center, which I really recommend. This is the key to this variant: conquer the galactic center as fast as you can, because if you do that, you have a good chance of scoring decently well on the last well, when you score after the last round. Yeah, I did forget one thing. To set up the AI, you just take a player sheet and you slide it underneath your player sheet. And the only interesting part is the enemy ships. The other part is not interesting at all. So these are my ships down here, and then I have this piece of cardboard between, and then the AI ships are up here. There is one addition. The rules say that the what's it called, the star base should have an interceptor bay placed over one of the hull places. So if we take a look at my star base, it has 2 hull places or compartments, and this one has an empty tile and an interceptor on it. That's just to remind me that when I'm attacking a colony world with just a star base, that has a star base, basically, not if it only has a star base, but if it has a star base, the star base will launch 2 interceptors that will be fighting alongside it. So it's fairly difficult and dangerous to fight colony worlds, even if they only have star bases. Okay, another thing about the colony worlds, I'm not quite sure if I talked about this either, but let's just mention it one more time, if I have. You can trade with the colony worlds, so if you were paying attention when I was showing you this, you saw that there are diplomats on the colony spaces here, and then there are some tokens underneath here, star bases and such. But if you are adjacent to a star base, if you control a space adjacent to a star base, or if your ship is adjacent to not a star base but a colony hex, you can take I think it's an influence action. So you take an influence action, and with that action you can place one of your population cubes on this diplomat, and this gives you points at the end of the game and reduces the warp gate technology. Plus, in addition, it helps you gain more resources, obviously. So that's a good addition, and I have been going with the strategy that I actually destroy the colony worlds instead of trading with them. So I'm going to try trading with them during this playthrough. I think that will work better for me. Yeah. Then we have on the back side here we have some different numbers for the upgrades and such, but we will be taking a look at this chart when we need to use it. So I will just put that aside now. I will put the rules away as well. I think I have learned most of them anyway, so if I need to take a look at them, I can easily grab them. Okay, so I think we are ready to start this off, and we are at turn number 1. I'm the Machinima race. I have my positron computer technology, and the first thing I need to do now is resolve an upgrade for the enemy AI. By the way, on the this attack card, the attack ships are red, and this is something this is a mistake I've been making while playing this game. I picked the red race for myself, and then I was too lazy to actually move all of these, so now the enemies are green. They're basically Klingons. So instead of red enemies, we have green Klingon enemies. And we now get to resolve a upgrade for them. And that is upgrade 1, electron computers. And it says place an electron computer on the empty space of all 4 ship layouts. So now we have to do that. We go over here and take our electron computers. I have more than 4, I just haven't taken them out of the box. So I have not needed more. I almost never upgrade these anyway, so these are just for the AI. So here we go. And obviously I only had 3 here. Now wait, I had 4. Here we go. So now, and I placed them on the wrong sheet as usual. Well, that never happens. Okay, so this cardboard thing is definitely not working. I have to devise something else, because I always place the AI upgrades on mine, and mine on the AI for some reason. And I would wager if I would flip these, I would do just the same anyway. But yeah, now you can see the enemy ships are actually upgraded, and they will be hitting on a 5 and a 6 during combat. Actually on a 4, 5 and a 6, but we'll get to that when we resolve combat step later on, so I don't have to talk all that much about that right now. So we are ready to take our first action of the first round of the game, and I will kick this off with doing an exploration phase, and we discard this upgrade card here, and I will explore this space here, and that is fairly decent. It's the same hex I used during my first video. I just kept it because I drew this randomly when I set that up. I decided to keep this. So I will be placing, yeah, I actually want a fast way into the galactic center, so I will be placing that like so. So now I am connected both to the new sector and the galactic center sector, and I will let's see, I will obviously claim this new sector here, and I will use my 2 colony ships to colonize the new sector, and that is a research and material. So let's see, let's pull those out. And colonize the new sector. So that was pretty good. I am at a -1 for my upkeep, but I have +3 in income and I have 3 in reserve, so I think I'm gonna risk this and get... Oh my god, this is so fiddly. I will do another exploration phase. That is our number 2 tile, which is also it's the same tile I used for the setup, so I kept that as well. Now I'm not really sure if I have to place this here or if I can place it wherever, because when we get to the number 3 tiles, we get to place them wherever we want. But I'm not sure if this has to follow the normal game rules, because in the normal game rules this would not be placeable around here. No, I mean it will not be placeable around here, but it would be placeable here, which is, I don't know, maybe like this, so I can explore here. Yeah. Now the problem with placing it this way is that I can't move between these two spaces here, but it does give me some options of exploring here and here, and I can still explore up here, but I would likewise not be able to pass down here. The main problem with this is during enemy attacks, your ships or my ships would not be able to move through my entire controlled area without having to take some sort of weird way around. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if this is better. It gives me fewer exploration options, but it does connect all my 3 hexes for simple and fast movement, and I actually think that the Galactic Center is the most important tile in this entire variant, so I will be going there as soon as I feel comfortable with taking that thing on, the Galactic Center central defense. Yeah, I'll just place it like this, otherwise this will take forever. This is why this game takes me about 2 hours to play, even though it's like a 40 minutes game. I just sit here and kind of try to figure out how to place this. I will obviously colonize that as well, and now I only have 1 ship left here, so I will activate, and I will take a economy cube and place it here, even though I think materials are fairly important for the next turn. They are really important for the next turn. But then again, I think I'm going to build a cruiser and an interceptor, and I can do that with 6 credits just as easily as I can do with 7 credits if I were to actually place this cube on there. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and place this economy cube instead. That's fine. And do I want to research something or upgrade something? Maybe I do. Let's see, the positron computers actually require 1 energy source to use, but that's not a problem for either my cruiser or my interceptor, so I could actually buy those or upgrade those. It's a problem for my Dreadnought though. It's not a problem for my Starbase. So maybe, I don't actually know. If I do this, I have to pay one during my upkeep phase, but it might be worth it because I will probably have to build, and I will probably have to build, research and upgrade next turn anyway. So yeah, I will do this just to make it a bit easier for myself. I will upgrade, and since I am the Machinima, I get to upgrade 3 ship parts. So I will take, yeah, I can't really afford to research and upgrade this turn. It would be nice to have some, to have the improved hull as well, and be able to take that, but I think I can do that in the next turn instead. So I will take, let's see, 3 positron computers and place them on the empty spaces of my ships. Well, I can't do it there, so I can place that there instead. Now, when you upgrade, you can return any number of tiles back to the main supply, so it doesn't hurt to upgrade stuff now. You can just throw it back later if you don't want it. So, okay, so that was my first round of Eclipse, and now we get to the upkeep phase here. So we have an upkeep of -5, we have an income of 4, so we have to pay 1, we're down to 2 here, and then we have +4 research, so we go up to let's see, 7, and +3 materials, so we go up to 6. Okay, and we get to flip 2 of these ships back up to its unspent state and move these action die or action discs back. And we now come to turn 2 here, and this interceptor at turn 2 marks an attack. So we take our attack sheet out. Let's zoom in, and we now have to roll a die to see which fleet attacks. So I will do that. I'll grab this box here, roll a die, and that's a 2, so that's good, or not. There we are. That's a cruiser attacking. And now we have to roll to see where the location for the attack is. We roll again, and that's a 1. And then you add the round number, which is, this is round 2, so that's 3. So the attack happens where I have the least, I forgot what those are called actually. Are there, I think they are like influence markers or something. I forgot what they're called, but they're these gray star-like thingies, and I only have that on my starting sector, so my home sector is being attacked by a Klingon cruiser. Okay, so now we get to, let's zoom out and not in, we get to round 2. And this cruiser is a big problem, actually. it's not that huge of a problem. They only got a computer upgrade during the first upgrade phase. So as it stands, my cruisers are actually better because I attack I have +1 more on my attack dice, and I also have higher initiative. That's also something I will be talking about when we get into combat. So I think, well, I don't really know. I do need to start researching stuff here. I will be needing this fusion source pretty soon, but maybe I can do without it for one more turn, and I can actually research the improved hull, which would make my cruisers a bit stronger still. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna, for my first action, I'm gonna research, and I will research the improved hull, which will cost me 3. I'm at 7, so it goes down to 4. Basically this costs 4, but I have 1 technology in this tree already, so I get a -1 discount. And now for the next technology in this tree, I will get -2 discount, so this works out fine. I will then build, and since I'm the machinima, I could build 3 things, or 3 structures, or 3 ships, or so on, but I only have 6 materials, so I cannot build 3 structures, but I could build an interceptor and 1 cruiser. That will cost me 2 + 4, 6, and that's how much I have. So actually I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna build a cruiser, and now these new ships, you get to place them on any sector which you control, which you have an influence disc on, but I basically want to defend my home base here, so I will place it there. If I had not built these ships, I could not have moved this first interceptor from this sector, from this hex, because for every enemy ship, 1 of your ships is pinned down and it cannot move. So right now I can move 2 of these ships out of here, but I cannot move all 3. 1 of them has to stay, since it's pinned down by this enemy ship. But I think that's fine. So we right now have an upkeep of -3, but I think it's a good idea to actually upgrade and go down further to -5. We have an income of 4, so we only have to pay 1, so that's fine. I think we can afford that. And then we will take improved hull here. Let's see, and I will give 1 here to the cruiser, 1 to the dreadnought, and 1 to the orbital. Now I don't really know if I should place this over the hull or over the computer. So this would give me armor, 1 extra armor absorbing. Well, yeah, basically armor, while this would give me just a 2 armor from improved hull, but I would hit on 3+. I think that's better for now. So I think that's a good idea, and this thing keeps sliding around. So okay, I can't do much else because it would cost me a whole lot to actually take another action, and I think this is fine. So I think I will end this turn for myself. So now we actually get to the combat phase. So let's see, first we move all of these off the hex and put them down here. And now to determine combat, first you have to determine combat order, basically in which order the ships are going to attack. And to do that you have to find out each ship's initiative. And you do that by, these are my ships, so you do that by counting these arrows here and here and here, for example. So my interceptor has an initiative of 4, which is fairly high. My cruiser has an initiative of 3. It gets 1 from positron computer, it has 1 on its own, and 1 from the nuclear drive, so it has 3. I'm getting attacked by an enemy cruiser, and the enemy cruiser only has initiative of 2. So both of my ships have higher initiative, and they will be attacking before the cruiser. Enemy cruiser will be attacking after both of my ships have attacked, so to speak. If we would have been tied between any of these ships, I would win the tie and my ship would be attacking first because I am the defender. So the defender always gets to attack first. It has higher initiative value than the attacker because of the benefit of being the defender, which is something that will be playing a major part of the final battle, because in the final battle you are going to them, you are going to attack the enemy, so they are the defender and they will probably get to roll before you and destroy you. So that's why this variant is pretty difficult. So now we get to order the ships, and we get to put them in initiative order. So my interceptors have initiative of 4, so they will be attacking first. Then my cruiser has initiative of 3, and then the enemy cruiser initiative of 2. And to figure out what type of combat dice and how many combat dice each ship rolls, you take a look at their weaponry. So my interceptor has 1 ion cannon, my cruiser has 1 ion cannon, and their cruiser has 1 ion cannon. And the ion cannon die is a yellow die. So we take 1 yellow die, and in this game combat's pretty easy. You figure out the initiative, and then each 6 is a hit. So when you roll a 6, it's a hit. And then you have some modifiers, and that's why the computers are important. The computers add to your roll. So since my interceptor has a positron computer, it will hit on a roll of 4, 5 and 6, because 4 plus 2 is 6, and that's a hit. My cruiser, on the other hand, has a modifier of +3. It has 2 computers, so it will hit on a 3, 4, 5 and 6, which is quite deadly. And then their cruiser has a modifier of 2, so it will hit on a 4, 5 and 6. Basically, my hope is that I will destroy it before it gets a chance of attacking me. And to figure out how many hits it takes to destroy a ship, you look for hull parts on the ship. My interceptor has no hull parts, so 1 hit is enough to destroy it. My cruiser, on the other hand, has this improved hull with 2 hull icons on it, so it can absorb 2 hits, and then the 3rd hit will destroy it. So it takes 3 hits to destroy my cruiser. The enemy cruiser has one hull part, so it takes 2 hits. So I have to I have to hit it twice to destroy it. And I'm basically hoping that that will not be a problem. Since the modifiers are different for the interceptors and the cruisers, I can't roll all their dice together. So I will be rolling first for the interceptors and then for the cruiser. And let's take this tray here. My interceptors, there are 2 interceptors, each has 1 cannon. So we roll 2 dice and they hit on a 4+. And that's a 5 and a 3, so that's 1 hit. So you take one of these damage cubes and you can place it behind the enemy interceptor to signify that it has taken a hit. So now if it takes another hit, it will be destroyed. So now my cruiser attacks. It has 1 ion cannon and it will hit on a 3+ roll. So let's hope for 3+. And that's a 5, so yeah. The enemy cruiser is destroyed. Now an important part of doing combat is do not put away the ships that you destroy. So for instance, if I had 6 ships here and the enemy had 4, for each enemy ship that you destroy, just put it to the side like this to signify it's destroyed, and then after the battle you will get to roll reputation tiles based on the number of enemy ships that you have destroyed. So you get 1 reputation tile, or you get to draw 1 tile for being part of the battle, and then you get an additional 1 for each ship that you have destroyed. I think in the normal multiplayer game the maximum of reputation tiles that you can draw is 5, but in this solo variant the maximum is 4. So I can never draw more than 4 reputation tiles, and then of those 4 reputation tiles I get to pick 1 to keep and put it on my reputation tracker here. So the reputation tiles come in numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. Basically you want the 4s. You want to find the 4s and fill up 4 reputation tiles with number 4 on them here, because then you would get 16 victory points at the end of the game. So let's do this. Let's draw. And by the way, these things, these bags, these come with the game, so you don't have to buy these separately. This black one is the reputation tile bag, so I get to draw 2 from this now. 1 for being part of the battle and 1 for destroying an enemy ship. So let's see. And this one. So here we go, 2, and that's perfect. I get a 4 and a 2, so I will obviously pick the 4. Put it on my track here. So now I have earned myself 4 reputation for the end of the game, which basically translates to 4 victory points. And then you put the other tiles back in here and you get to draw them again next time. Now the enemy ships is destroyed and my ships go back to the position where they were defending, which is my home base. Okay, so before the turn ends and the upkeep begins, I will flip one of these colony ships. Kinda struggled for the word there, but my colony ships, and I forgot to populate this space here, so I will do that now, even though I think it's a bit too late, but let's do it. I think you get to at the upkeep phase you get to do this anyway, so I can do it now. It doesn't really matter. So you get one last chance at the upkeep phase if you have forgotten something. So this game is pretty lenient towards forgetting stuff and yeah, it's pretty lenient toward mistakes. And now we get to the upkeep phase, and once again we have a -5 with an income of 4, so that's -1 on our credit track here, and we gain 4 research and 4 materials, so our research goes up to 8 and our materials are at 0, so they go to 4. So there you go. Then we get to move our influence discs back here, and that was turn 2 or round 2. Yeah, obviously these need to get flipped. I always forget these small stuff, but when you're playing Solitaire you can do this after you were supposed to do that, because nobody is here to keep track of you. So yeah. Okay, so this is what our civilization looks like so far. It's okay. It's not great. I hope that the next exploration will bring something more interesting, maybe some ancient ships and some discovery tiles, so that we can get some extra resources. Otherwise, maybe we have to go up to the galactic center pretty soon, but I would like to have some form of shields before we attempt that, because that thing can take 7 hits and it's pretty dangerous. Okay, so I will stop this video here, and I'll see you on the other side.